This episode is sponsored by our trusted lawyers. If you have any legal queries or require representation, contact Miriam Altaf.
If you'd like to advertise your company, feel free to get in touch.
This
In the early hours of June 13th, 2020, at around 12:45 a.m., Robert Powell attended a house party on Water Lane in Roydon, Essex. Around 100 people were believed to be present. According to court documents, at approximately 4:45 a.m., a grey Ford Cougar, later identified as having cloned number plates, pulled up near Powell. An individual stepped out and began shooting. Partygoers scattered in terror as Robert Fox Powell was shot 8 times in front of his horrified sons as he was leaving the party. Powell was shot with a 9mm semi-automatic pistol and suffered a total of 15 bullet wounds, with some caused by the same bullet passing through his body. One bullet even knocked out the gold grill in his mouth. Emergency services were called, and Powell was found being placed in the back of a Ford Mondeo by bystanders before being rushed to Whitechapel Hospital, accompanied by his sons. One of his sons was completely covered in blood. At around 6 a.m., Powell's eldest daughter received the devastating call that her father had been shot. Powell, also known as Fox, underwent an 8-hour surgery. However, he developed swelling on the brain, leading to a second 4-hour surgery. His family was asked to say their goodbyes, and tragically, Powell was pronounced dead at 2 p.m. the next day. 2 young women caught in the crossfire survived the shooting. Essex police described the murder as a calculated, planned, and vicious execution, launching an immediate investigation. According to the police, 3 cars played key roles in the crime. The Ford Cougar carried the shooter, while a Vauxhall Zafira served as a support vehicle, and a white Toyota Prius was used to identify Powell as he left the party. After the murder, the Cougar and Zafira were traced to an industrial estate in Epping. Police built their case using intelligence gathering, CCTV footage, and ANPR, automatic number plate recognition, data, working closely with the National Crime Agency. Images of 3 men wanted in connection with the murder were released: Nana Opong, Isra Shah, and Temitope Adeyinka. Shah, also known as Slick, was described as 6'1", slim, and linked to Romford in East London. Temitope Adeyinka, also known as Limo, was described as 5'8", of medium build, with connections to Stratford and Bow. Nana Kweku Opong, the main suspect, was described as 5'6", proportionate in build, and from Newham, East London. Known as Enz, the Teflon Don, or the Cleaner, Opong had a long history with authorities. He had been previously acquitted of 4 murders. The first one was the murder of Jeremiah Oke, which happened in December 1999 in Plaistow. Nana was tried and acquitted in March 2000. Years later, he was accused of the double murder of Eugene Brown, 27, who was shot in the head, and Patrick Ford, age 36, who was shot in the chest at the Sugar Lounge nightclub in 2010. Opong was out celebrating his 30th birthday. 2 Old Bailey juries failed to reach a verdict. Opong was arrested again after a young father named Ashley Latty was stabbed and beaten to death outside the Beaver Centre Function Hall in Dagenham on May 18th in 2014. Nana was again acquitted of murder. Police continued their investigation, uncovering crucial evidence from EncroChat, an encrypted messaging service. The messages revealed that Opong had been planning Powell's murder for weeks. He had even considered targeting Powell at a block party in Beckton, East London, a week earlier, but was deterred by the presence of the police. The vehicles used in the crime were determined to have been purchased specifically to locate and kill Powell. Despite a year passing, authorities struggled to apprehend the suspects who had fled the country shortly after the murder. Investigators were having trouble locating the suspects. However, this changed in 2022. In December of that year, Israel Shah was arrested in Spain and extradited to the United Kingdom in February 2023. Here is a footage of his arrest.
Confirm your name for me.
Israel Shah.
Cool. Israel Shah. Time's 2 minutes to 4. Okay, you're under arrest for first instance warrant relating to the murder of Robert Powell.
Nana Opong, named as one of the UK's most wanted fugitives by the National Crime Agency, was caught in September 2022, hiding in the back of a lorry with a fake Maltese passport as he entered Morocco from Spain. He was extradited back to the UK in June 2023. Here is the footage of his arrest.
The magistrates at Chelmsford Magistrates Court have issued a warrant for your arrest, and that's in relation to a murder, possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life, and wounding with intent.
Crime Stoppers increased the reward to £10,000 for information leading to the capture of Adeyinka, who remains at large. Shah and Opong stood trial without Adeyinka. Shah testified that he was in the area to simply sell drugs and have a good night, and denied involvement in the murder. He admitted to being at the scene with Adeyinka in his Toyota Prius, but claimed he left after hearing gunshots, insisting he was innocent. Prosecutor Justin Rouse, KC, presented CCTV footage showing Shah driving back and forth near the party and suggested Shah had a clear view of Powell exiting. Shah, however, denied this, claiming he saw nothing. Shah acknowledged his presence at the scene, but denied any role in the murder, while Opong denied being there at all. The prosecution argued that it didn't matter who pulled the trigger, as it was a joint enterprise and all involved were equally responsible. The jury returned and found Shah guilty of murder. They found Nana Opong also guilty of murder. Opong was sentenced to a minimum of 38 years, while Shah received a minimum term of 26 years. Judge Joel Benathan KC described Opong as extraordinarily dangerous and declared him the leader of the plan to kill Powell, noting that he had access to a frightening array of firearms.
Princess! Father and daughter! Say, princess!
This episode is sponsored by our trusted lawyers. If you have any legal queries or require representation, contact Miriam Altaf.